Ooh, happy Friday night, you guys. I'm liking this vibe. I'm Stephanie. Welcome to my health, wellness, things that smell good, candles, tea, money, whatever the heck I feel like talking about channel. And it's Friday night. I'm coming to you from my basement workout room slash home office slash room of requirement. I'm digging this angle. We've got a candle going on here. Bath and Body Works, just a single wick eucalyptus tea. I just wanted to come on and talk to you guys. I said I would come and talk once a week and just check in a little bit more often. Friday night, I worked, I came home. I had a couple too many chocolate covered almonds because I was craving them, and now I'm having a La Croix. We call this La Croix in Canada. I don't know, what do you call it in America? LaCroix? Sure. I just wanted to check in because my last video I talked about my goal of trying to relax more, and I also just wanted to check in on my words of the year. So let's do that. I'm just here to talk, and maybe somebody's out there on a Friday night and wants to say hey. I hope that the sound of that heater is not too bothersome. It is freezing in this room right now, and right after this I'm about to do some yin yoga, and I need to warm this room up basically. So let's start with words of the year. I came on in January and I said I had 3 guiding words for the year, and those were kindness and simplify and mastery. And I can hear my dog about to come in, so we're gonna let him in the door. I can hear him coming down the stairs. We'll wait right here. Okay. Hi. I'm one of those people who, when I set a New Year's intention, I really follow through with them. I really like them, and they are a guiding light for me. I know I'm a rare bird because the whole rule with New Year's resolutions is that you're supposed to just give up on them, right, by February, but I don't. I check in with them. So let's talk about kindness first of all. How have I been practicing kindness in the past 3 months? I have been really paying attention to how I am interacting with when I'm kind of do a bit of customer service at work, and it's very easy to get frustrated because you kind of get the same question over and over again, and to that person it's the first time they've asked the question. Sometimes you're just frustrated because you try to solve the problem that they're asking the question about, but it hasn't been solved and it's kind of out of your control, and instead you're kind of dealt with like stick handling everybody and explaining the same thing over and over again. So I'm just really stepping back sometimes, because in my head it's just the stuff I'm doing mentally where I'm like, this question again, and I'm kind of just stopping myself and going, okay, no, this is this person's first time dealing with this, and it is a legitimate question, and I'm just trying to make sure that when I'm crafting my emails that I am being as generous as possible and assuming the best from the people that I'm speaking to. And I hope that's coming across. I think I've been getting positive feedback on that. I'm also trying a little harder to make connections with people at work. I am quite an introvert, and I love the people I work with, actually. They're all really cool. But sometimes I get like overwhelmed with too many people. Like they want to go for coffee, and I'm like, dudes, I need some time on my own. Do you know what I mean? Like lunchtime I go for a walk by myself. I spend so much time doing customer service that I'm already like burnt out on people by the time it's my break. But today I went with them for coffee, and they always invite me. They're really nice people, and I'm like, I should just let people in a little bit more. I think sometimes when you're an introvert, you're worried that if you let people in too much, they're going to want too much from you, and it's going to be exhausting. Is it just me? But I'm getting better with boundaries, okay? Speaking of boundaries, more. Hi. Hi, doggy. He wanted to come in, mess with his bed, and now he wants to go out again. You're irritating me. Let's go. My dog simultaneously wants to be with me all the time, but then immediately wants to leave. The other thing that I really stood up to today is that there's somebody in my life who likes to gossip a lot, and I'm really trying to handle that differently. And I think I'm finding a tactic that's working for me, in that I'm really trying to model like nice behavior. Like, instead of saying bad things about other people behind their back, whenever they bring up a person, I'm always like the first person to say something positive and be like, oh yeah, that person has a really good sense of style or whatever, and almost like preempt the negative thing that the other person was going to say about them. I'm just kind of trying to teach them how to behave a little bit. And then there was one thing the other day where they really were trying to involve me in a conversation that had nothing to do with me, and I just kind of said, here's how I feel about it, and this is actually none of my business, and I just recommend that you let this go. Like, I'm just refusing to participate in somebody else trying to get me into those conversations where we're hacking away at somebody else. It's so counterproductive, and it's so unhealthy, and I'm an imperfect person. My goodness, I was so full of faults. But I'm trying my best, and I would hate it if other people were, trying to cut me down behind my back all the time. So I'm just not allowing that behavior in my life anymore. So that is how I'm working on being kind. Let's talk about simplify. The word simplify has been a great guide for me. The amount of times I've wanted to sort of get distracted from my own path by trying to overdo things. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, lately I've started to get more into yoga, right? And it's like, you can overdo it. You can decide you're going to get into something, or like a craft. You want to start a craft, and you immediately go to the craft store and buy like so many supplies, as opposed to just focusing on like doing the one thing, right? I'm dialing back all the time. I'm always editing, removing things from my house that I don't need. Deciding like, do I really need to take that? Is that cleaning job something that can wait for later? Do I need to have this in my house? Just always asking myself, in what ways could I pare this down and thus create space in my life to make my life feel more spacious and less overwhelming? Do I need to do all of these tasks? Is this really my responsibility? It's hard to come up with specific examples, except to say that I'm always like, I'm looking through my social media and unfollowing people's. I am in the morning. I'm keeping my morning routine really simple and repetitive, so that it's quite easy and relaxing for me. What I'm bringing for lunch, I'm not stressing myself out with making a bunch of new recipes or coming up with a bunch of new ideas. Sometimes I'm just bringing some cut up chicken and some grapes, simplify. And it suits me. It is more of how I like to live in my life. Mastery was another word of the year that I wanted to aim towards. And what's been really cool is that I have to say, from a fitness perspective, I have been really true to that. I have been deciding to do the same workout every week. I've been doing a muscle workout on Monday, and then trying to fit in a Pilates workout on Tuesday, and then on Thursday I've been doing a yoga. And I really found that when I would repeat a workout, sometimes I had one or two workouts that I was alternating between, but I was always going back to the same thing. I really found that I was actually building strength or building skill. Like, I've hit some of the goals physically in terms of strength that I wanted to hit much earlier than I thought I would, because I'm not constantly mixing it up. I'm just like focusing on like doing this one thing really, really well, and understanding that there's time to move to the next thing. Okay. Um, Pilates and yoga are two disciplines where arguably there's just natural repetition in them. Like you're always going to have a sun salutation. Salutation? I'm not even drinking. You're always going to have the same move, right? You know what I'm trying to say. There's always a downward dog in there somewhere. And that you could perceive that as dull or and boring and need to constantly mix it up. But instead I'm trying to shift my thinking towards mastery of that particular move, you know, repetition, feeding the success. And then it becomes, when something becomes so natural and automatic, it becomes almost like a beautiful dance that you're doing. And you can't get there by constantly changing it up. That's something that you get through repetition. So, a couple of things I've been adding now in April. I have just decided to kind of challenge myself to 30 days of yoga in a very kind of soft way, because I've said here before, most recently, that it's a little too type A for me to be joining challenges and that kind of thing. That's not what I'm doing. But I have been craving a little bit of a step outside the box now. Now that I mastered what I was doing, I wanted to do something that frightened me a little bit, because when I go to do something like 30 days of yoga, I'm not a yogi whatsoever. Like I'm still really a newbie. I know the moves, but I'm not very flexible. I'm not very strong. I've got a bum shoulder. So that just feels really challenging to me. But instead of being scared about backing away from not doing it, I decided, why don't we just try, you know? I'm always playing it safe. I'm always doing the thing that I know will be comfortable, and this will be uncomfortable. And sometimes I might go to do a yoga workout and I might only get through half of it, and I might end up in child's pose. And that's how you grow, friends. That is how you grow. That is how you move forward with your life instead of being stuck in the same old boring rut, is that you have to challenge yourself. So sure enough, yesterday I did the first 30 minutes and I made it through, guys. You know why? Because I've been mastering my yoga on Thursday nights. I made it through 30 minutes of yoga. Problem is, I have this shoulder that it hates this position, which is, by the way, what you're doing most of the time in yoga is like the plank position or like push-up position. It's years and years I've had this issue. Like when I start to do too many push-ups, I don't know. It's a bum shoulder. So I learned recently, though, that one of my favorite yoga teachers also has a bum shoulder. So it's not a barrier. It's just something where I have to go, okay, I had it in my head that I was going to do 30 days straight of this like power yoga, which was going to involve a lot of like sun salutations and a lot of, push-up position, plank position, all of that. Instead, after my first day, I had to put like, arnica and stuff on my shoulder because it was really bothering me. So I've given myself permission to alternate days. Now I'm going to do one day of the heavy duty yoga. Second day, which is what I'm down here about to do, is a yin yoga upper body stretch. So that one day is building and one day is healing. One day is building, one day is healing. My hope is by the end of the 30 days that I've built some strength, because I think that that's really what my shoulder needs. It needs strength around it. I've kind of learned the hard way that when you have a part of your body that really bothers you, laying on the couch and doing nothing doesn't make it better. It makes it worse. It's just such a fine line as you age. Protect your joints, friends. I'm telling you from the other side here. If you're younger, watch your knees, stretch your shoulders, watch the repetitive motion, watch the jogging. Last thing I wanted to talk about on our Friday night chat. I have my little journal here. We call this my book of complaints. But sometimes I don't complain in here. Sometimes I just journal. I was talking about wanting to bring back more relaxation and meditation into my life. This is by no means a, hey, I meditated for a week and my whole life changed. Oh my God, everything's different now. It's not that. But I did actually notice some things this week that were really positive just after a week of meditation. And let me tell you, when I say meditation, what that means for me. It's that every morning I wake up, I do about 5 minutes of stretching and easy movement just to get my joints going, because that feels really good. And then I put on a 10 to 15 minute just YouTube simple meditation. Excuse me. All that's asking of me is that I breathe. I'm laying on the floor. It's first thing in the morning, and it's usually just me kind of resetting myself. I might have woken up from an intense dream, or I might just wake up in kind of a mood, or I'm really tired, and I'm just breathing and I'm trying to focus and I'm just trying to be present. And as we know, that's actually really, really hard. And what I appreciate, and I've been learning from the meditation teacher that I'm following, is that it's okay that it's hard. It's actually supposed to be. That's the point. Okay? Nobody is actually able to really sit down for half an hour and completely have a blank mind or just think about their breathing. There's always stuff popping up. But what starts to happen is when you actually make yourself do it. It's uncomfortable when you make yourself do it. But while you're there, you start to notice the thoughts that are coming in, what kind of thoughts those are, and then you kind of go, huh? And then you go, oh crap, I'm supposed to be meditating. And then you like, whoosh. And then you do that like 5-10 times during this period, right? You wander off. I'm supposed to get this thing for my daughter and blah, blah. Oh, I'm supposed to be meditating. Okay. And then you come back. And then, so it's this practice of like constantly you're getting, and then you come back. That's the exercise, right? That's the muscle that I'm building. That's the skill that I'm building. And I'm really proud of myself that I am doing what I said I was going to do, even though it's hard. And what I have noticed this week is actually kind of interesting, because the first few days I was like, I hate this. This is dumb. And the first couple of days I really had to journal, because I was just full of rage, honestly. And then towards the end of the week, I started to notice a calmness. Not all the time, but a little bit more of a gentleness with myself. Like, it's like I let go of some things, and I felt like I just suddenly wanted to be a lot kinder to myself. And I suddenly wanted to notice things and enjoy things, and like I was just a lot more comfortable, like in the afternoon, just like sitting on my deck, like looking at a bird, you know? I wasn't so manic. I was slowing down a little bit. I was able to sit and do a crossword. Like, it was just really, really subtle, right? Like 3% better, but noticeable. And I actually put in my journal here, I noticed throughout the week, I wrote down things that I started to do this week when I really started to focus on meditating. One of them, which is what I talked about before, is that I'm standing up for myself more. I'm just suddenly it's like my voice has been freed. Maybe that's the menopause talking, but I am comfortable expressing myself. I'm not holding myself back and questioning when I have something to say. again, really subtle. I started listening to music again. Instead of, I had a couple of beautiful things come up on my YouTube feed. And this is a side thing that I wanted to talk about. Okay, I've been doing a lot of my meditations through YouTube. And what has happened, I mean, let's get woo-woo for a second. We're all in an algorithm right now, right? The things you focus on are the things that come to you even more, right? So, as it is with life, it is with YouTube. As I have been doing a meditation every morning, the algorithm is sending me videos of other people who also meditate all the time, and not just meditation videos. So I've been getting a lot of, like, I would say Eastern and world, like sort of boho music. I've been getting a lot of philosophy. I've been getting a lot of beautiful nature content. And it's all because as I'm meditating and watching that YouTube video in the morning, the meditation video, and I'm watching random ones, not hard to find, you just Google it, right? I am suddenly dipping my toe into the algorithm of the other, like, yogi meditation people. And it's like such a gift. Things are coming to me. So I've been listening to some of this music, and it's outside of my usual, like, we get all stuck in our musical genres. These will be things that are totally outside of my musical knowledge or genre, and I'll just be like, yeah, let's throw that on while we're making dinner. The other day, instead of listening to, like, podcasts or news or things that was, like a lot of heavy content on my way to work, I just listened to some world music and in my car, and it gave me space to think and to breathe, and it calmed me so much. So in a very real and measurable way, the act of meditation is changing my experience outside of those moments, if you get me. Okay, so I found myself not needing as much coffee. Sorry, my screen keeps going off. This is my, like, workout screen next to me. Yeah, I stopped needing as much coffee. I found myself not needing to go into the zone of like the jacked up coffee kind of buzz. I've been having matcha in the afternoon instead, which I think is just a nicer kind of jump start. What else? Just more kind of self-acceptance. I've been dressing like really weird and funky and just being really comfortable with myself about it. I had a day yesterday where I called it the 3 yellow day. I wore 3 different colors of yellow all in the same outfit. And I looked like a maniac, and I didn't care. I just, like, a weird self-acceptance of my Aquarian kind of quirks. Let's see. Sometimes I found myself not being as hungry. Really stopping and eating and tasting my food, and, like, really being picky about food, like wanting food that I really, really enjoyed, but not wanting to just shove a bunch of junk in my body, like I just wanted to feel cleaner somehow. And then the last thing happened last night, which is I had one of those cathartic dreams where, and I don't know if this happens to other people, but one of those dreams where you just cry. And it was a dream about my daughter and about her growing up and not being a kid anymore. But it wasn't a sad dream. It was just kind of, she's graduating this year, and it was a dream about experiencing that loss, if that makes sense. And it was so intense, but I realized, like, I'm a person who holds on really tight to my emotion, and I do sort of have trouble breaking down. And in my dream, it was like I suddenly had this epiphany of, like, oh, of course I'm feeling this. Of course this is a feeling I'm having. She's graduating. She's moving on to being an adult. She's my youngest. This is now really huge ending to an era of my life, where I had small kids, and I'm not going to have them ever again. And it's beautiful and tragic at the same time. And I'm not scared about it. There's a lot of people who worry about empty nest. Honestly, bring on the spare time. Bring on the me time. They're good. They're still around. But it was that little visit of the little kid again, and then having to let that little kid go, and just the maternal kind of pain. And if you're a mom, I know you feel me on that one. It's a tough moment, but how fantastic that I'm processing that. How healthy. And I think it's because I've been forcing myself to go internally and to relax and sit with myself and make space for those feelings and not get so wrapped up in, you know, the to-do list, the bottomless to-do list of just modern life. I put that down for a little bit. All right. This was a very long video of me just rambling. More of this. I hope we can do this again. I enjoyed it. I hope somebody watches it. Comment below if you have ever tried meditating, if you have found it difficult. Comment below if you have had kids graduate and leave or just become adults, and how that felt for you, if you want to share it. I know it's just a really common experience, but it's huge, you know, it's a big life transition. And I'm going to do my shoulder yin calm yoga. Tomorrow I'm going to do my meditation lesson that I have. And we are also redoing my daughter's room. We're painting it orange because that's what she wants. Okay, guys, have a good Friday night. Thanks for listening.